On the news tonight, the National Judicial Council recommends Justice Kudirat Kekere-Ekun as new Chief Justice of Nigeria. Ogun State House of Assembly passes bill amending traditional rulers and chiefs law. Good evening and welcome to NTA Ijebu ode news at 7. I am Ijebu ode. Now the details of the news. The National Judicial Council has recommended Justice Kudirat Motomori Kekere-Ekun to President Bola Tinubu for appointment as the Chief Justice of Nigeria.
Justice Kudirat Kekere-Ekun, born May 7, 1958, obtained a LLB in 1980 from the University of Lagos and was called to the bar on the 10th of June 1981. A life bencher, she was elevated to the bench of the Supreme Court as the fifth female justice.
More efforts needed in the areas of synergy among security agencies and the adoption of technology if electoral violence must be reduced. Chairman, Police Service Commission Hashimu Arugungu and retired DIG Habilu Joshak were among participants that gave the suggestion at the Election Security Management Symposium in Abuja. Mi Ogidi reports.
Election, the only oxygen for democracy, but elements like electoral violence are by some persons to manipulate the system through ICT, major threats. DRG Abila and DRG Arugungu, both retired, had seen it all on the field, and time to share their experiences on how leaders can be elected based on merit, and the best place to discuss it is at the Merit House, Abuja. Virtually all the security agencies and other stakeholders on election management present here. Talks are usually the culprit in electoral violence, but the answers given by managers of elections need to be questioned again.
Two policemen cannot control electorates, other observers and officials at a polling unit. And you are to do that unarmed. And so criminals take the opportunity to come from the bush and begin to fire and send everybody and destroy the materials.
But in the 2011, social media caused the problems that occurred during that time. I believe now all our security agencies, they have platform and they have experts in social media. They can easily track them and get those who are trying to cause problems.
Not only a talk show, but also a time for research beyond the walls of the Merit House. So, a book, Puzzles and Puzzles of Election Security Management in Nigeria, authored by Ikechukwu Kinsley Uzoma, unveiled.
The book itself also highlights flashpoints, areas that are prone to violence during, before, and after elections.
Edo and Ondo polls, the test ground for the lessons learned from this symposium. Mie Ogidi, NTA News.
Ogun State House of Assembly has passed a bill amending the Obas and Chiefs Council of Obas and Traditional Council laws of Ogun State 2021, stipulating 2 years to fill vacant stool of traditional ruler who joined his ancestors and empowering senior Obas in charge to discipline minor chiefs who violated any law of the land. The Assembly also recommended the suspension of a coronet Oba caught in the web of land grabbing and other unwholesome activities. Parliamentary correspondent Yemi Dalemo reports on this and other engagements of the lawmakers at plenary.
The passage of the bill was consequent upon the presentation of the report of the Committee on Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs and was later read and adopted clause by clause before the Committee of the Whole after the third reading.
Under Clause 18, insert the subsection 2 to read, irrespective of any circumstances surrounding the vacancy of a chieftaincy stool. There shall be no vacuum exceeding 2 years after the transition of an Oba. Under clause 36, after subsection 2, insert subsection 3 to read, an Oba in charge shall have the power to regulate and discipline minor chiefs within his prescribed authority in line with the principle of fair hearing.
Ogun State Power Sector Bill 2024 seeking to improve electricity generation, transmission and distribution within Ogun State, establish an electricity market and key power sector bodies, enforce consumer rights and obligations, and for other connected purposes, also scaled first reading at plenary. The lawmakers adopted a resolution calling for the prosecution of a coronet Oba in Obafemi Owode local government area and directed the Ministry of Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs and the State Council of Obas to suspend the monarch for acts capable of disrupting the peace of Agboru, Olatunde village and the people of the state at large. Also at plenary, the Assembly commended Governor Dapo Abiodun for approving 100 acres of land to establish a naval base in Ogun Waterside local government, while also lauding Ogun East Senator Benga Daniel, who facilitated the project through its inclusion in the 2024 National Appropriation Act.
The government can do this for the people of Ogun Waterside and the Ogun State in general. That's what I want to appreciate on behalf of the entire people of Ogun Waterside.
When this still starts, is going to bring in a lot of benefit to the people of Ogun Waterside. So Ogun Waterside and Ogun State in general, so we appreciate.
The House notes that the naval base, when fully operational, will boost security network in the area and the entire Ogun State. In Abeokuta, Yemi Dalimo, NTA News.
For a long time, Kwara State was blacklisted by the Universal Basic Education Commission, UBEC, and this led to many negative consequences. Khadijat Akanbi reports on efforts by the Abdurrahman Abdurazak's administration in collaboration with UBEC to change the narrative.
Following the blacklisting of Kwara State by the Universal Basic Education Commission, UBEC, enrollment into public primary and junior secondary schools went down, and many of the schools were in a state of dilapidation. With the intervention by Governor Abdurrahman Abdurazak's administration to address the situation, many developmental school projects have been embarked upon across the 16 local government areas of Kwara State through the State Universal Basic Education Board in collaboration with the Universal Basic Education Commission, UBEC, with the use of matching grant funds facilitated by the state government and UBEC.
The government was able to construct a block of 2 classrooms with office in 116 locations across the 16 local government area. And they also constructed a block of 3 classrooms in 84 locations across the 16 local government areas. We also constructed a block of 4 classrooms with offices in 64 locations across the 16 local government areas. Then remodeling of classrooms, a total of 1,635 classrooms were renovated, rehabilitated across the 16 local government areas. The provision of furniture, 2-seater furniture of 3,705 were provided from this fund for our purpose to ensure that children no longer land on the floor.
For the benefiting schools and communities, it is all thanks to Governor Abdurrahman Abdurazak and the federal government for coming to their aid.
We want to appreciate the government for giving us a good learning environment.
Thank government for innovating our school and giving us new furniture. We are happy.
We appreciate the government with the new furniture, the classrooms, the ICT center, and the water provided in our school.
Before, our children used to sit on the ground, writing on the window, but now they can sit comfortably in the class.
On behalf of the community, we are very grateful and thank the government for the renovation of our schools.
With the unwavering commitment of the Kwara State government, and the collaborative effort of the Universal Basic Education Commission, basic education will become attainable for all, significantly reducing the number of out-of-school children and improving the overall standard of education across the state and the nation in general. Khadija Takumbili, NTA News.
You are watching NTA Ijebu ode News at 7. The news continues shortly. Don't go away.
Your heritage station.
Welcome back. Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC) says, as an umbrella body of Nigerian workers, it is fully committed to dignity, unity, and security of the nation.
When reacting to a recent Nigerian police force statement that it trailed a notorious foreign national involved in national and international crimes to the headquarters complex of the NLC in Abuja. NLC Head of Information and Public Affairs Benson Upra, during an World Press Conference, says the union has no connection with any criminal and would have fully cooperated with security agencies if it had any knowledge of such.
Integrity, the sovereignty, and the unity of this country, our primary concerns. I tell you this, if there is anything that constitutes a threat to this country in any part of the Nigerian Labour Congress, will not be associated with such an act or such a person.
The union, however, expressed disappointment that the police force did not honor its demand for an apology after the raid at the Labour House, saying that this would have buttressed a positive relationship between the union and the police force.
In an effort to boost the economy of Osun State, the wife of the governor, Erelu Ngozi Adeleke, has flagged off an empowerment program for 3,000 business women in the state. Erelu Adeleke at the program in Osogbo also promised to empower over 9,000 youths and persons with disability before the end of the year. Femi Afariogun reports.
3 days, 3,000 business of 18 to 35 years spread across the 3 senatorial districts of Osun State were tutored on how best to boost their businesses. Aside the wife of the governor registering businesses of all the 3,000 women with Corporate Affairs Commission, she is also giving out grants to boost their businesses.
SMEs control the large chunk of the GDP of Nigeria, and I really want to see my women grow their business, because if SMEs in Osun State are booming, are doing well, it adds up to our own GDP in the state.
The Commissioner for Commerce and Industry, Reverend Bumijeyo, described the initiative as a giant one that will further complement Governor Adeleke's effort at empowering many youths in the state.
This is to change a narrative of joblessness in our society.
For women in Osun, it will eradicate a lot of poverty.
The training for Osun Central was held at Osogbo, while that of Osun East was held at Ilesha, and that of Osun West was at Iwo. Femi Afariogun, NTA News.
That wraps it up on tonight's edition of NTA Ijebu ode News at 7. I am Iyabo Wale Eri. Good evening.